Hey guys, I just wanted to get with you and let's chat about this macro thing. So the macros, I really want us to focus on figuring out how many calories we actually consume a day with just proteins, carbs, and fats. So it is going to take a little bit of work as far as actually writing out things and paying attention to labels a little bit to kind of calculate every single thing you eat. So just to kind of give you an idea, my protein shake here is Herbalife, but I use a meal replacement in here. I use a protein mix, and then I also use the amino acids recovery. So I have 3 scoops in here instead of just 2, but 3 different scoops. So what I did was I wrote out every single gram of fat, protein, and carb out of each shake or mix, and then I calculated those. So this is how you do it. So for every protein that you have, every gram of protein, it yields 4 calories. Same with carbs, they yield 4 calories. So what you would do is you would take the number of grams in protein and in carbs out of each protein box or container that you have, look at how many are in it, and because I'm not using 2 scoops, I'm using 1 of each, I broke the actual amount in half. So, for example, my meal replacement has 9 grams of protein in it. The protein drink mix, which is just for helping you to build muscle mass, has 15 grams of protein in it. But then my recovery, which is my rebuild, has 24 grams of protein in it. So I took all 3 of those and I cut them in half. And then I added those numbers together and multiplied it by 4. So my numbers would look like 3 plus 7.5 plus 12. And I cut those in half. So those are actually bigger, as you already know, but I cut them in half. I add those together, and then you multiply them by 4. So that number gives me my total amount of protein that I've gotten in just one meal. Then the same with my carbs. I had 13 grams of protein, or 13 grams of carbs in the meal replacement. I had 5 grams of carbs in the protein drink mix, and then I had 18 grams of carbs in my recovery shake. So again, I cut those in half, and then I added them up and multiplied them by 4. Now the fats are a little bit different. Everything is multiplied by 9. So instead of me just having 1 or 2 or 3, half of my numbers were cut in 0.5 or half of a half. So I only had for my protein shake 0.5 grams of fat for the meal replacement. I only had 3 grams in the protein drink mix, which is actually more than I expected. And then the recovery shake only had 1.5 grams of fat. So I cut all 3 of those numbers in half. Then I added them up and I multiplied it by 9. Now doing this, I then calculated all 3 of those totals, which gave me 274 calories just in this shake. Now, if you know how many protein or how many calories you're supposed to have in a day, it ranges. It could be 1,800, it could be 1,400, it could be 2,000. But if you're not dispersing out as much as you actually bring in, then you store as fat. So I tell people if you are on the heavier side, you would probably want to keep your calorie count lower, between 1,600 or 1,400. So then when you actually get close, like one of my meals that I'll get to is closer to 500 calories just for one meal, but that's my dinner meal. That's the meal that I fuel with to go work out with. So if you are just eating this heavy meal, you just ate half your calories for the day, and then you have to disperse that energy. So keep that in mind when you calculate your calories, when you look at the actual labels. I'm not really focusing on any minerals, any sodium, any cholesterol. It's just with what fuels our body. So proteins, carbs, and fats. And you want to make sure you know how to calculate them, and you also want to know how you can keep track. So what I did, if certain foods I have are not with a label, like my dinner, I made shrimp fried rice, and it had broccoli, green peppers, and onions in it. So it's kind of hard to figure out how much is in each when you don't have a label. So I Googled it, and I Googled how many carbs are in onion, how many proteins in onion, and how many fats are in onion. And it does take a little bit of work. So if you write down it in advance, if you know some of the foods that you're automatically going to eat, I keep that aside as like a little study guide, because sweet potatoes and onions and green peppers are things that I automatically always have in my diet. So that helps to kind of figure out what the actual count is when you go to mix it in your food. So just to give you an example, we made fried chicken with no flour at all, and we just deep fried them in grapeseed oil, and didn't know that chicken alone has no carbs in it. So I had 4 chicken wings, and for each chicken wing, it's 5 to 9 grams of protein in it. So I believe I estimated between 7.5 grams for one chicken wing. And then I did the same thing for the fat, which was 5.4 grams in a chicken wing, in one chicken wing. So knowing that you had maybe 4, you have to add these 2 together and multiply it by 4, so you get the actual total consumption of how many servings you had. One serving, one chicken wing gives you the 5.4 in fat, and then either the 7.5 or the 5 to 9 range of protein. Also, I had sweet potatoes added as a side, so of course I got my carbs in and energy for sure. So if you look up sweet potatoes, they're heavier in carbs. So my protein was 2.7 grams, and that's for one medium serving sweet potato. And it was peeled and cooked, so I had 26.7 grams of protein in that. And fat was only 0.21 grams, so that wasn't too bad. But when you multiply them, they start to look a little different. So once I added up my intake for my chicken wing and my intake for my sweet potato, for each one, protein, carbs, and fat, my numbers weren't too bad. I was very, very pleased with the amount of calories that are in just these 2 things. So I got 195.4 calories just with eating a chicken wing and 1 sweet potato. So if I added 3 more chicken wings, I'd have to add that to what I have already, but multiplying it by the 4 and the 9 in order to get the estimated number. So again, I'm going to try and do as much as I can to do every single week with you guys, at least a couple meals that I have. These 2 were my meals that I had so far today. I did have another one, which was shrimp fried rice and vegetables, and that one actually was loaded in calories, but sometimes you need those in order to disperse that energy when you're going to the gym. If you're active as I am, you need to get rid of it. So it's good to equal out. So if I burned 2,300 calories today, it's okay if I actually ate 2,000 calories today. If I only had 16,000, I actually gained some muscle mass or some energy because I actually didn't put too much fat back in the body. I got rid of it and I consumed it, but then I got rid of it. So keep that in mind for this challenge. It's mostly just to see how much you're eating. It's mostly for you to study, paying attention to the calories that are in the foods, and then also just keeping the active body moving at all times. If it's not every day, at least 3 days a week, make it count. So I will be in touch. This is just my first reach out to kind of give you guys an idea. If you got questions, please email me at fitchickmotivation7@gmail.com, or you can just inbox me on Facebook. I don't mind answering any questions. This is something that is hard to do if you don't study it or at least write it out. It's going to be hard to keep up. And my main thing is people actually staying disciplined enough to keep up, because it takes some work. So if you want to change a little bit and you just want to get a little bit understanding of how you eat and how much fat or calories you're having in a day, try it out. Get with me and I'll see you guys soon.